Hey guys, this is the map that I have drawn on when I got home. All these other colours are different rides. That's what I done last year. Went down to Tassie, come back up, COVID hit about here, and then I just come home. But this is the trip I done this year. So left Kyogle, which is here. Went out through Warrialda, Lightning Ridge, camped at Sheepyard Inn, went down and camped at Louth by the river, Cunnamulla Caravan Park, Nakundra. First oil change was there because it was about 1,000 k's on the new engine. Went up to Quilpie Caravan Parked it there, which was pretty bloody nice caravan park, probably the best caravan park I stayed at. Went up to Junda, camped by the river. Winton, camped by the river. Julia Creek, that's the caravan park with the nice sunsets. Lind Roadhouse, that was dirt all the way through there and all the way up to probably about here. Then to Ravenshoe, Tully, to visit Mark's mum. Went up to Cairns, Cooktown. That was one of the better camp spots I had by the creek there near the waterfall. Went up to Musgrave, didn't go to the top, going to do that in a couple of years with Mark. Just way too many cars on that road, it would have killed me and the bike. Then I come back down here and went back through this road here to Mount Surprise, and that's where I come off on that slippery creek crossing somewhere around there. Went across through Croydon, went to Normanton, up to Corumba, then back to Normanton. Birkenwheels Roadhouse, Cloncurry, that was just out of Cloncurry, that was the Mary Kathleen uranium mine just there. Mount Isa, new tyres, down here to Boulia. COVID said, can't let you into South Australia, so I didn't go down here. I turned back around and went back up through Camberwell and went to, didn't go to Tanner Creek, but went to the roadhouse there, got some fuel. Went up to Daily Waters pub, probably the coolest pub on the trip. Cape Crawford, Southern Lost City, and this is the worst road in Australia between Southern Lost City there and Tomato Island, 185 k's, 5 hours. It was atrocious. Up through Roper Bar to Mataranka, probably 3 regrets I've got on my trip, and one was not staying at Mataranka longer. I should have stayed a day at Mataranka and one at Bitter Springs, but when I got up in the morning I just wanted to get going. Catherine, plane flight, no, helicopter flight over Catherine Gorge, that was well worth the money. Pine Creek, stayed at a, an old race course there. Went up to Cahill's Crossing up here, where the crocs lay on the crossing. Back through here, stayed in Darwin a couple of nights, got some more tyres there. Back down, stayed at Pine Creek again, and back down here to Top Springs. At this stage, that Top Springs was the dearest petrol on the trip. It was $2.20 a litre. I was fairly shocked because, as you can see, it's not that remote, and it was all bitumen all the way there, but it is what it is. And this is where I got the good photos and the drone footage of me going across the crossing. That campsite was the best campsite on the trip. That's where I camped by the water and had the fire going, and it was pretty amazing, that. Okay, Cunnamulla, that was pretty cool. Oh, that's right, I went into Lake Argyle, then I went to Cunnamulla. I got a plane flight down over Lake Argyle and the Bungles. That was, for the price, that was average. It was $500 and we were just way too high to see much, but it doesn't matter. Up to Wyndham, spent a couple of days there. I really like Wyndham, I don't know why, but I just really liked Wyndham. Didn't like the snake that was beside me tent when I come back from a shower. Then you come back out of Wyndham and this is the Gibb River Road. So Errol Crest Road, Tar, all the way to the Pentecost River, which would be about there, I suppose. Yeah, and that road there was awesome, hills and beautiful mountain ranges, but from there all the way to here was crap. It was just trees, rocks, dirt. It was crap. And then from there to Derby was tough. Went into Derby, then went over to Broome. Beautiful place, Cable Beach, and that was bloody amazing. That up to Cape Leveque, come off there in the sand, back down here, Pardo Roadhouse. That's where the snake climbed up my leg. I was eating lunch and in my peripheral I seen a snake on the top of my knee, and it scared the crap out of me. It was only a python, but still, it doesn't matter. Went into Port Hedland and got the bolt fixed on my gear changer. I snapped it off doing it up. Went down to Marble Bar. That was one of the better roads through there. That was all dirt through there. That was great. Down to Wittenoom, camped by the asbestos mine, or the old town there. Down to Parapadu. Back up, come off on this Rio Tinto road going to Karratha, Dampier, Onslow. Beautiful. All these places down here were just so nice. And Exmouth, that's where I got stuck in the rain for 3 days, and I missed out on a fair bit there because it was just raining. I didn't go swimming. It was just such a shame. Come back down here to Carnarvon and over to the Gascoyne Junction, Kennedy Ranges. That's where Honeycomb Gorge was. And before I go on, you're probably wondering what this thing is here. That was a ride Mark and I done to Cooktown, and that's what went through my rear tyre and gave me a flat tyre. Carnarvon down to Denham, Monkey Mia. That was a beautiful place. Here's the dog starting barking again. Cowbarry, that's where the Skywalk was, and Nature's Window, bloody awesome. Geraldton, one of the nicest places on the beach. Through here, Murchison Roadhouse, and that was all dirt through there to Big Bell, and that was #1 on the bucket list, to go there and see the old pub there. Q, back down through here, down the coast, nothing happening down here. The Pinnacles were down here somewhere. They were pretty cool. Inland Northam, that's where I camped the night in a caravan park in a cabin because it was raining. Back through to Perth, spent a couple of days there. Nothing much to report down here. Albany, yeah, not much to report. Hewarden, that's where Wave Rock was. That was up there on the best to see things to see on my trip. That was pretty bloody amazing. Wave Rock in Hewarden. Up to Bullfinch, that was an old deserted town there with a big mine. That was beautiful. Kalgoorlie, super pit there. Went right up here. Grawler Ghost Town was here at Leonora. Went up to Leicester. Don't know why I went up there, but I did. And then back down here. Come all the way back down to Esperance. Lucky Bay, that was where that clear water was. Back up to Kalgoorlie, got some new tyres on my bike. Come across the Great Australian Bike, and Nullarbor here. That was probably the most amazing thing I seen on the trip, was the head of the bite and this here. If you've done the Gradation Road down here, this here was twice as good. The scenery was twice as good. Everything about it was just amazing. Nundroo, that was the worst place I spent on my whole trip. That was at the Roadhouse. Oh, oof, I'm starting to shake. It's bringing back bad memories. Seduna, back down here, Coffin Bay. That was beautiful down here. This was awesome down in here. Tumby Bay, that's where all the silo art was. Back up to Port Augusta, back down here. Yorktown was nice. Back down to Adelaide, stayed with me mate. Come back up here to Corn. Lee Creek, went up to Farina, where the deserted town, beautiful. Back down through the Flinders, Wilpena Pound, and then back up to Woomera. Wasn't very impressed with that place at all. Up to Coober Pedy. From Coober Pedy to Unundana, down William Creek, up to Birdsville, and to about here was all dirt. That was about 1400 k's of dirt, and I sort of rushed that because the bike was playing up, my bed was going down. It's a shame because that was pretty bloody nice scenery and nice riding through there. So I rode on my last day, second last day, from Birdsville all the way through Windora, down through Quilpie, through Charleville, and camped at Morven. So that was 927 k's. That was a big day. And at Morven, the bed, well, I actually slept on the ground because the bed wouldn't stay up at all within 5 minutes. Then from Morven to Brisbane, stayed with my children for a couple of days, and then back to Kyogle. Good morning, everybody. I'm back. Yes, I know, I'm back. What a beautiful day. It's Sunday. Thought I'd go for a ride. First time I've been on the bike since I come home, so that'd be 3 weeks, I suppose. Just got a couple of statistics as I promised, and a little bit of my electronics. The bike feels so nice. I spent literally hours and hours and hours cleaning the bike up. It was so dirty. The bull dust had just bloody melted to the frame, to the rim, and all the lube off the chain had mixed with the bull dust, and it was like a freaking brick. So done that. Haven't changed the oil yet. I still got about 1500 k's left on this oil, so I thought I'd just ride it a few times and then change the oil. But cleaned the air filter and took the seat off and the tank off and put a new plug in it. The other plug done 36,000 k's, and I think that was the problem, that it wasn't starting that. And I did empty the tank. The tank had a little bit of water and a fair bit of bloody dust in it, or dirt. But other than that, I don't know, that's just I put a little bit of radiator fluid in it. It was down a bit too, which I use waterless coolant, Lucas's waterless coolant. I've touched on that before. Water boils at 100 degrees, and this waterless coolant I use is a bit different. It boils off at 232 degrees, I think. So, and it's anti-corrosive and stuff like that. Very expensive, but well, I have got a new GoPro. I pay an extra, I think it's $150 a year when I brought my GoPro, and you can get one GoPro a year for $100. So when I come home, I just swapped it over, said it was playing up, which it was. So I got a new GoPro, I got a new media mod, and I got a new adapter that goes from the GoPro to my Rode microphone. That was about all the stuff that I've done. Oh, I got a new airbed. I sent the other one back. It was a lifetime warranty on it, so it had 3 holes in it. So I've got a new airbed. You bloody rip, it's a different, same bed but different design. A few statistics, as we might have touched on the last video. $13,115, $105 a day, 125 days on the road. 36,100 kilometers in total. If I keep on looking down, that's because I've got it all written on my notepad inside my tank bag. So 49 nights was free camping, and 74 nights were in caravan parks. And 2 reasons I stopped at caravan parks. The main was I needed power to charge everything, because everything's USB charged, and I can only charge so much on the bike. And the other reason was to have a shower. It was just good to have a shower every couple of days. The cost of the caravan parks was $1,460, and free camping obviously was free. And then there was 2 nights in cabins, so I only spent 2 nights in a cabin. That was one at Conginoi or something like that, and the other one was at Northam. So that was only $130. One was $80 and one was $50. The food cost me $4,500, probably the biggest expense. Now, I did have pasta many nights for tea, but a lot of the times I just didn't really worry about the cost. I thought, I'm on holidays, I'm just gonna buy whatever I want whenever I want. And the thing is too, if you're a biker, you know this, I can't buy a steak in the morning and then cook it overnight. Or you could, I suppose. I could buy ice bricks and put them in, but that's just all too hard. So I stopped, had a coffee when I wanted. Usually what I'd done was I had a late breakfast, so 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then I had a late lunch, 3 o'clock, and then and that was it. And then if I was hungry overnight, I'd have some nuts, some lollies, or a bit of pasta and noodles. That's the only thing I really carried. A little bit of tuna, and that was about it. Stickers, I spent $220 on stickers, and that doesn't sound much, but the average price of a sticker is $5, so that was a few stickers. I've probably got about $700 worth of stickers on my bike, but it's a cool attraction. The amount of people that took photos of my bike because of the stickers, it was unbelievable. Rightio, so petrol, 1600 litres, and I multiplied it by $1.80, so I was paying $2.20, paying $1.80, $1.60, $1.50, so the average price was about $1.80, and that works out at about $3,000 in fuel, which wasn't too bad. So repairs, that was $2,975. Now repairs was when I took it to the motorbike shop, so, and the money I spent on it, the tyres, chain, sprocket, rear sprocket, one front sprocket, how many sets of tyres? 5 sets of tyres and 7 oil changes. That paid for the oil. I always done the oil changes and changed my oil filter every time, so that wasn't too bad, I don't suppose. So the weather on my trip was pretty bloody good. I've got home and it hasn't stopped raining almost for the last 3 weeks. So on this trip I had 7 wet nights and 6 wet days, which wasn't too bad. So 3 of them days I spent at Exmouth in a tent. They weren't much fun at all, and I even actually left in the rain. Alright, so I spent 4 days in New South Wales, 25 days in Queensland, 15 days in the Northern Territory, 61 days in South Australia, and 20 days in South Australia. I come off 3 times, once on that slippery water crossing, once going up to Cape Leveque on that sand, which I caught on video, and the other one was on the Rio Tinto road between Mount Tom Price and Dampier, or wherever it was. And all of them were my fault for being careless. That wasn't the bike. Nice bike, nice bike, nice bike. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go through all my electronic gear, and I will explain what I have taken. But I want to touch on my gear. I've taken photos of my gear, which I'll place beside me in this video clip. My jacket, it's a JST jacket, can't fold it, it's a pretty good jacket, it lasted the trip. And then when I got home I gurneyed it, and it held up to the gurney. I have a caribou hooked on the loop at the top of my jacket, and I hang it off my bark busters, as you'll see from this photo. My helmet is a Bell MX-9 helmet, and again I've got a little hook on the end of the handlebars, and the bark busters hold it on. That was really unreal. How many times you get off your bike and you go, oh, what am I going to do with my bloody helmet, and you put it on the ground. Every single time I just put it on this little loop, as you can see from the photo, and it works really well. Former motorbike boots, they're only 3/4 length, they're really good. The jeans I wear are from Aldi. That's a department store, food store in Australia. Every now and then they have cheap stuff, but they're Kevlar lined and they're only $90. And my gloves, they come from Aldi too. They were a bit long, so I got them cut off, and they work really well. I want to touch on my socks. For years and years I used to ride and have socks, and they're really tight, and you'd get off your bike and you'd have these indents in your leg. So what I done, I think they're called Mountain Design socks. They're not bloody cheap, but it doesn't really matter when you're riding a motorbike. It doesn't matter what anything costs when you're riding your bike. They're long socks and they almost come up to the bottom of my knees. And I don't get any indents or anything like that, and it's pretty good. That's my old house down there, for those who really care. I built that house when I used to share farm on the dairy farm here with me mum and dad. So you've probably seen this road on a couple of my earlier videos. Old mum and dad's farm. As far up there as you can see, all these hills here. It's changed a bit. Used to milk cows, now it's only beef farm here. Anyway, back on track. So that was my clothing, and the shirt I wear's like a lycra one, and the reason I wear that is so I can wash it in the shower or whatever, hang it up, and it's dry within minutes. And that's the old dairy up there. Used to milk 10 a side pit bales, really close to the house, which was really good. So this one here is just all the stuff I use with my laptop. I filled up a terabyte, and that's a 2 terabyte, and that's nearly half full as well. Laptop charger, I've got a cable at home. That is a cable to go from my hard drive to the laptop. Everything's USB-C on a Mac. I've got GoPro lens covers in there. I changed them twice because I dropped me GoPro a couple of times. I've got a couple of connectors in there and a USB little mouse, little travel mouse thingy. It's a bloody ball terror. So they're all the cables I use. One end's USB-C and the other is all the other fittings I need. USB A, B, C, D, E, F and so on. Alrighty, next. I suppose Mavic Air. It's a good little drone, folds up to next to nothing, and that fits in the tank bag nice and neatly. That's why I got the Mavic Air, is because of the size. It's small, compact, folds up, it's great. Extra blades, selfie pole, extendable selfie pole, not a real big one, but it's, you know, everything's about getting stuff smaller and that when you're riding the bike. Some earbuds, just to listen to music if I wanted to. However, I think I use them about twice, so I probably wouldn't take them again. GoPro batteries, I've got one in the camera obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be working. And then there's a spare blue one, and then there's 2 of the older types. So what I do with that is I'll put that in my tank bag and run a cord from there up to my USB there and charge it. The other thing I've got is a big 20,000 milliamp charger battery pack that charges my laptop about twice. That is a bloody lifesaver, that one. Then I've got another little USB battery bank, and what I do with that is I hang it in my tent like that, and I run a little portable fan in there. It's only about as big as a, I don't know, softball or something, not real big at all, so it keeps my fan going all night. What I've got down here is one of these battery car starter thingy majiggies with an Anderson plug on it. Anderson plug's just under there, hooked up to the battery. Plug it in there, bang, onto that, and then start it. Didn't use it, but I did use it to charge my phone and other stuff. On the bike itself, I've got my iPhone up here in a RAM mount. Obviously they come around like that for bumpy roads. Otherwise, what I've done is I've just put some, hear that, Velcro on the back of the phone, and put a little bit of Velcro in there, and it holds it on. And I put some on my tank bag, as you can see, so when I get to somewhere I can just throw my phone on there and it's not sliding around everywhere. I've got a round USB 12 volt socket there. That's for my little air compressor, and this side here I have got a dual mount USB. That's for my phone. And what I do sometimes, see I've got a GoPro mount here, I'll click the GoPro in there while I'm having lunch and I'll just charge it. And at the end of the day, that's where I put it there to charge it. That way it's not floating around and dropping the bloody thing. My laptop is under there in a solid bag. Now that done just on 40,000 Ks and it didn't miss a beat, so it went through all the rough roads and everything. And that, as you'll see from the photo, is underneath this, tucked in underneath that. Alrighty, next stage will be some of the cables and stuff I use. I suppose I could start up here. So on the tank bag's a bit sloppy looking, and that's because there's nothing in it. In this side here, I've just got a spare phone cable. This cable here, it's a bloody ripper. It's got USB-C, so I can charge the GoPro. It's the iPhone if this one here stops working, and this little one here is, I don't know, USB bloody something or other, and that charges my Cena. Didn't touch on my Cena, but yeah, you'll see on the side of my helmet here I've got a Cena SMH10. I think without music I would have went mad. I listen to music 99% of the time on the trip. It's worth its weight in gold. What else have I got in here? Oh, that's my USB-C cable to charge my GoPro at the end of the day. That is for my headlamp. I've got a lead lenser cigarette lighter just in case I've got to start fires. And that is just in case this one here dies. I've got a spare USB dual plug I carried with me. Didn't use it, but yeah. But if I'm on the road and I haven't got time to swap it out, I'll just put this guy here into the 12-volt socket. And that is if I stop at Macca's or somewhere and I want to take my stuff into charge, I can do that. And that's about it. Oh, what I have got in here, this is interesting. It's a little lock, and what I do, this hook here for my helmet, I put it through there if I'm walking away from the bike for any amount of time. Yeah, they probably could get a hacksaw and cut it off, but like a lot of things, it's just a deterrent. And this is all the other spare electronics that I carry. I've got a spare one of them. It doesn't take much room. Yeah, it's more shit I've got to carry. And then I can just plug it in. That's worst case scenario. A couple of stickers for me GoPro in case it fell off or I bloody hit a tree or something and I had to refix it. I've got a flat mount, and then I've got a curved mount. I've got another one of them cables with USB-C and iPhone and that on that one. A little iPhone charger. Not sure why I got that, but anyway. And a spare microphone. And you would have seen on the trip that the microphone played up, so that was the microphone I was using. And that little guy there is for my drone. If for some reason I wanted to plug my iPad in, I could plug my iPad in. That goes into the remote and that would go into the iPad. And a little bag of screws, nuts and bolts, batteries. What else is in there? Oh yeah, some ram mount rubbers. That's a bit of a fail with these ram mounts, is these rubbers here. They hug your phone and that's what keeps it in there, but they come off. I've got them siliconed in there, but I did lose one on the trip. Actually, that top one's nearly off. There you go. They just come off loose. Yeah, and that's about it, guys. That's all the electronics that I use and what I take and so forth. I have got a little gadget here which is gold. You might have seen some of my time lapses I done, and I done them off my motorbike, most of them. I've got a mount just there, and that there's flexible, so all I do is I tilt it up like that, and yeah, time lapse, and I can run that cable from there back to there and have it charging all night. So that's why I can do 12-hour time lapses, is because I use the battery of the bike, and doesn't take any charge out of the battery. It still starts. There is my laptop. I put a couple of straps in there, and when I close that, it usually is full of clothes and pillows and stuff, so it fits in there nice and snug and doesn't bounce around. Righto, that is about it, guys. Something I forgot to tell you is while I'm riding along, not that you're supposed to, what good time, and saying the cops there, but you're not supposed to, but I use a stylus pen to, you know, map and send texts. No, but yeah, if I need it, it's better than taking your gloves off. And it works really well.